when you're fresh out of school, you have that desperation to just take a job, you just...
If your child chooses to not follow within the career path of a doctor, lawyer, engineer, they should not feel like a failure.
I would never think somebody could be a professional TikToker. Those are the three prestigious jobs. And I think a lot of parents just kind of...
sometimes secondary school does not justify what your academic success will be later on.
CXC has a whole set of other issues that I am concerned about, as we all know.
What advice would you give to students preparing for their first job?
My advice... Sorry, let somebody else take the role.
No, I would say, well, if it is that you looking to approach a specific company, then it's very important that you know the company that you're approaching. A lot of people show up for a job and they don't know the culture of the company, what is their mission, what is their mandate, what they're about, how long they've existed. So, you need to do your research on the company that you're approaching to get your first job so that you kind of show that you're a good fit.
Yeah, I actually really agree with that, because I think when you're looking for your first job, you're so hungry for a job, like you just want a job, but because of that hunger, we fail to look at the company, look at the company's rules, look at the responsibility of you as an employee within that company, what it is you have to do, what's the company's culture like, because the culture of a company is very important on how you will progress within the company. And I think because when we're looking for our first job, we're just so hungry to get a job that we do not see that as important. But if I could go back, when I was looking at my first job, I would have prioritized the culture of the company and how well I would have fit in within that company and progressed within the company as well. So that is a good point to make.
I agree. To add on to what Amrita said, I feel like a lot of times the hunger that she's talking about, when you're fresh out of school, you have that desperation to just take a job, you just want to start making money. But I do think it's important for people to remember that, yes, you want a job, but you go into a job because you want to make sure you and the company are a right fit. So a lot of the times in the interview stage, a lot of people, they get kind of scared and they just start babbling in the interview, But you want to make sure and prepare and ask the right questions about the company as well. So a lot of people, they just think they're going to get grilled for this job. But that's not the case. You go with your questions, ask them about their culture, ask them what they like about working in that company, because you have to be able to set your boundaries when you're in a job as well. Take into account your personal life as well. And sometimes just that desperation of wanting to have a job, you end up losing out your boundaries, your personal life. You end up not taking those things into consideration. So it is important to make sure that you and a company are the right fit for each other. And some jobs are stepping stones as well. So sometimes you don't need to think that, oh God, I get a job here and I'm going to be here forever and for the rest of my life and this is the be all and end all. Sometimes, approach it, have your plan, know what you want in a company and know what you have to bring to the table as well. Remember that you have worth and you are coming to add value to a company.
Sorry, just to add what Crystal said, one big piece of advice I will give to everyone is be honest in that interview process. So if the interviewer asks you, can you do this? Can you speak this language? Do not lie. Do not be dishonest and say that you can. When you know you cannot, you can't speak an ounce of Spanish. Be honest about your qualifications, because like we mentioned, you're so desperate to get a job that in that interview, you're just saying, yes, I could fly a spaceship. I did this so much times, but be honest, because now when let's say you got the job and you're put into that role and you can't do all the things you swear you are an expert at.
The next thing I would say too, when you're getting your first job, you lack the experience, so you have to approach it with a teachable mindset. And then you have different workplaces and different cultures, and seniors in those places could be. You can have great bosses and then you can have some not so great ones, but you have to understand what that job is going to do for you and the season that you'll be in that job for.
I would also say that's a learning process. Sometimes you would feel like you have imposter syndrome being there, but you now start. And when you now start, take it as a learning opportunity to learn as much as you can from your position and don't feel like you don't belong. Sometimes you feel like, but if you sit there and you feel like you don't belong, then you realize that you need to move on to something else.
Yeah.
But in terms of imposter syndrome, just take it as a learning opportunity.
How can teachers and parents support students who have failed academically to help them recover and succeed?
Well, maybe their talents aren't. I don't want to say that their talents don't lie in the academic realm, but it's not the only way to succeed.
Yeah.
Just exposing people to success looks very different for different people. It's very important. Like, okay, you mightn't be good at the science subjects or business subjects, whatever, but your cupcakes is taste real good. Like, you know, make a social media page and push that, you know, success looks different. And I think we have to move away from the mindset. Yes, you know, the doctor, lawyer, engineer is the, like, you kind of grew up with that being the pinnacle of success. But I mean, to be quite honest, a lot of my friends are in those fields and they're pretty miserable on a day-to-day, you know? So choose what is important to you and what you enjoy and pursue your passion rather than just what society thinks are success, because then you could be in that role, be in that job and then not be happy. So I think,
you should have at least some standard, some level of an academic background. So it may not be, academics may not be for you, but you should have a level of academics behind you. Yes.
Yeah. So even if you choose to, let's say you didn't do as well in a specific subject, you should repeat it in January. Even if you choose to follow the pathway of an entrepreneur, for example, you should still have that solid academic background.
Yes, to a certain level. Yes.
Yeah.
So it may not be up to any CAPE or any bachelor's degree, but it should be up to a certain level.
Yeah.
And to add to what Nalini said, that's why the student hub is here. If you fail any subject, you could just come here and redo it privately with us, and I'm sure you'll pass. 99.9% sure you're gonna get your one.
Yeah, so if you do, let's say that does occur and you do choose to do it in January, I won't advise you do it without some course of lessons intervening. You know, you would need that extra help to get a better grade in January. So let's say you didn't get the grade the grade you would have liked, and you want to repeat the subjects in Jan, you should do lessons to help prepare you to get a better grade in January.
But I do feel there's a certain amount of disappointment that comes with failure, and it messes with your mental. And I think one thing that people kind of have to let go of is the fixed timelines that, you know, by a certain age you should have this and then you should have that and you should have. So if you fall behind, you feel like a failure, because even if you do get it, like you feel like you're behind your course mates, or you're behind your classmates. And really and truly, success comes on a different timeline for everybody. So I feel like you keep that in mind as well. And then two, there are usually multiple routes to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So, okay, you hope that you would have gotten the grades necessary the first time you wrote, and then you apply to your program and you get in. Okay, but you got rejected. So maybe you need to up your grade in this one and that one. So then you pursue rewriting it. Or maybe instead of doing CSEC again, maybe you might want to do N1 because it might fast track you to get into the program you want to. So you could move away from, yes, you didn't get through in this route, but what are the other routes that exist? And I think the main thing is that once you identify what the goal of the student is, try and get them in rooms with people who've been there and done that.
Yeah. So I think it's important as well to not give up. Like, don't give up easily. So even if you do get a bad grade or not the grade you were hoping for, don't say, oh my God, I give up. I need to follow another pathway. No, if you are solid in knowing that this is the pathway that you want in life, go to the lessons, take the lessons. At the Student Hub, we offer lessons to almost all CSEC and CAPE classes, you know. Put in the work to do better if you're writing Jan exams. You will get there. I know it's disappointing if you didn't get the grade you wanted, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your life. You will get there eventually. Just really need to put in the work to get where you need to be.
Why is the teaching profession often perceived as non-prestigious, and how can we work to change this perception?
Money.
But also the whole Trinidad, probably the whole world just have this mindset dating back to God knows when. Doctor, lawyer, engineer, right? Those are the three prestigious jobs. And I think a lot of parents just a lot of parents just drill that into people's head from young. But that's not the only professions that exist. Teachers shape society, and, you know, they have a huge hand, in building everyone. So I think we need to cultivate that in younger people. I didn't imagine some of the jobs that are existing today would be jobs now. I would never think somebody could be a professional TikToker and make more money than me or a doctor, right? TikTokers making millions. Maybe if I got on TikTok earlier, I would have been a millionaire. But you know, doctors, lawyers, and engineers aren't the only prestigious jobs. They're great jobs if you're into that, but there are a lot of other jobs as well.
Yeah, I would say it's not specifically teachers that are seen as non-prestigious. I think like typical Caribbean household, the same doctor, lawyer, engineer, seen as like the best jobs in the world. This is what my child needs to be, else my child is a failure. No, I think we should educate our children from a younger age, from kindergarten, preschool, primary school, about the other rules within society and how important they are. Because now, if your child chooses to not follow within the career path of a doctor, lawyer, engineer, they should not feel like a failure for wanting to encompass a role that's more suited towards their passion and their likes, you know. So I don't think, in my opinion, it's not teachers specifically that are viewed as non-prestigious within society. It's just doctors, lawyers, and engineers are always seen as the prestigious roles in society, you know. So the more that we could grow and uplift ourselves from that mindset and teach it within the children from today, I think we could eventually come to a point where that's no longer the culture.
Yeah, speaking about mindset, the older generation seems to have the idea that, I don't know if you all ever heard of this, those who cannot do teach. You all ever heard that one?
Yeah.
And it's disappointing that they have that mindset, because I don't think that a lot of professions today wouldn't be there if it didn't have the teachers to support it.
Of course.
I just feel like I have had like a real mindset change. I don't know if it's, you know, becoming a mom or whatever. Like, yes, so I did the whole academic route, and academics important and all of those things, but like, even what is your definition of success changes. I feel like now is more important. For me, now important is doing what I love. You don't have this thing like, you know, what's your favorite job or career? And I'm like, well, I do not dream of labor.
Yes.
So really and truly, I mean, if I could work the least for the most and enjoy and live life and do what you're passionate about, I think that is also an option if it's open. And I would like for teachers, I mean, if teachers are paid more, then people who are not passionate about teaching might pursue it just for the perks, right? So it's some kind of twisted way of keeping teachers passionate. Like, you're only in this route because you love the job.
Yes.
But I don't know. If you take away a lot of these other stresses and people get to truly love their job, they will shine and thrive.
So some of the ways part of the question was some of the ways that we could reduce the ways that they look at it, to change their perception. It would be to have like things like in the public school system, like smaller class sizes, or even teachers should have access to the resources that
it blows my mind. Like, I have a friend who's a teacher. Not to go to the government. But no, she is a public school teacher, and it's like, my class needs 2 funds. Like, who want to volunteer? Who want to volunteer? Like, we need to repaint the desks. You know, like, anybody want to donate and whatever. And I'm like, why you you need, like, she's looking raising funds for stickers and like posters and like minimum things that I feel like should be provided with the job that they usually pay out of pocket from the minimals. That
could be very stressful. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, man, no, it's not.
Thanks for watching our episode today. What topics do you guys want to hear next? Leave your comments down below and let us know. See y'all on the next episode.
Well, will they?
They will know that. They'll realize. They'll realize.